Good evening, and welcome to Old South Church. We are so delighted to have you here. My name is Peter Coulombe, and I am the Handbell director here at Old South Church. And we, of course, are the Old South Ringers. And we are so excited to bring this annual Handbell concert back this year. And thank you for being here to join it tonight. I'd like to just introduce the Ringers, starting at the top, at the treble on your far left is Pam, and a special shout out to Pam. She's the one that made our music masks that the Ringers are wearing. Thank you. Next to her is Carly, and next to her is Katie, and the first of our two Jills, and Rami, and Erica, and in the middle, Jennifer, and Daniel next to her, Evelyn Manning. Her name slipped out of the program. I'm sorry, Santa's elves have been very naughty this year. Evelyn Manning, and next to her is the second of our two Jills, Jill. Next to her is Vivian. On the end of the bells is Brooke. And in the corner, ready to play our bass chimes, are Stephanie and Donna, the Old South Ringers 2021. So believe it or not, we did our very first Christmas concert 15 years ago. It's hard to believe we've been doing it for that long. And it's a tradition that we are delighted to continue for as long as we can. As I said before, a special welcome to you. And tonight, we are actually live streaming this event, which makes me both nervous and incredibly scared, but so thrilled that we can do it. So if you are joining us online tonight, a special welcome to you. Also, if you are missing this live, it will, or if you have friends who you'd like to share this with, it will be available for viewing after the fact on the Old South Church Facebook page, so you can share tonight's fun with your friends later on. We are delighted to bring a selection of music from the season that reflects the range of moods of this time of year. Perhaps some of these tunes will be familiar, perhaps you'll hear some for the first time. Either way, we hope you'll leave here a little bit warmed, a little bit more inspired, and perhaps a little bit more touched by the wonder and beauty and grace in the world. Next on our program is an ancient plain chant melody. The words that we recognize to this tune, O come, Emmanuel, make this an Advent carol, a carol particularly appropriate for the season of reflection and preparation in anticipation of the wonder and joy that Christmas brings into our lives. Here is O come, Emmanuel, arranged by Arnold Sherman. So thank you, thank you. I am super excited tonight because for the first time, we have several new ringers all at the same time who are playing their very first Old South Ringers Christmas concert with us. And I'm gonna ask those ringers who are performing for the first time in a concert with us tonight to please raise your hand. Can you please look at that, folks? Isn't that exciting? So awesome. So if you're sitting there thinking, wow, that's amazing, I'd love to hear this every single week, you too can come and join us. Talk to me later. Actually, they're not the only ones who might be here tonight for the very first time. We know that sometimes members of our audience are here for the first time. And so now I'm going to ask for a little audience participation tonight and ask you, would you please raise your hand if this is a first time here at the Old South Ringers Christmas concert? Wow, oh my gosh, that is wonderful. Well, thank you for taking a chance on your Sunday night with us. That's fantastic. We hope we'll see you back next year. All right, well, especially for the first timers, those of you who've been here before know that I love to share information about our handbells. And so I'm going to give just a little bit of information to help you understand a little bit about how this unique instrument works and what it takes to play it. So you might think that each handbell is straightforward. It plays one note, kind of like the keys on a piano. But actually, every bell is layered with multiple overtones that are almost silent unless you have special instruments, but they color the sound kind of like a fine wine in your mouth, except this is like wine for your ears. It's wonderful, wonderful. So when you're listening, appreciate that there are multiple layers of music happening all at the same time. Now, our bells range almost the full range of a piano. The handbells go all the way down to our low C3. Brooke, would you lift that up? That bell weighing in at 11 pounds, 1 ounce, the lowest handbell that we have. Can you give it a ring, Brooke? It weighs almost as much as she does, I'll be honest. How she can do that is amazing. All right, and at the opposite end of the ring, we have our high C8, weighing in at a mere 7 ounces. Ramy, would you demonstrate? Wow, hope there's no dogs in the audience tonight. All right, so that's the range, but it doesn't stop there. We have an entire octave of bass chimes that are even lower than that C3. Jill, would you sound out that C2, the lowest note we have? Almost feel it more than you hear it. Amazing, wonderful. We are so lucky to have this instrument. So in addition, we have the 5 octaves of bells and 6 octaves of hand chimes. And in each piece, a ringer can be responsible for as few as 2 notes, or, well, maybe it'll be easier if I show you. Pam is playing our G-A position tonight, and Pam has 2 main notes, and she's actually sometimes playing the octave above that. And it would be easy enough if she just had those 2, but Pam also has to handle the sharps and the flats. I think we'll have some helpers. Now, between all the sharps and flats and her main notes, Pam can have up to 10 bells that she's responsible for. But in addition to all that, she's got the duplicate version in chimes. I don't know. Do we have? Oh, yes, in chimes, as if that's not enough. Plus, Pam has to wield a couple of mallets and turn her pages. She's got somewhere in the neighborhood of 24 different things she's got to put her hands on just to get through one piece. How's that for talent? All right, thank you, Lovely display. All right, but you didn't come here tonight to listen to me talk, you came to hear the bells. We are delighted to present to you our next piece, I Wonder as I Wander. It's an American folk carol that originated in Appalachia. Thank you. Thank you so much. So, so how did these things even come about, right? You know, we've been playing handbells here at Old South Church for get this, 92 years. 92 years we've had handbells here. What started it all was actually a Boston resident named Margaret Shercliffe. Margaret Shercliffe, and she went over to England and she accomplished a tower bell peal perfectly. And in appreciation for what she had done, the Whitechapel Foundry, which made English handbells, which is what we're playing, the Whitechapel Foundry donated to her a 3-octave set of bells. Well, she brought them back here to Beacon Hill, where she lived, and she started an annual Christmas caroling concert. This was way back in 1926. 1926. And believe it or not, Margaret Shercliffe's home is now a museum, and you can actually go and see her home, and there you will see pictures of her with her neighborhood friends and family ringing handbells. It's quite fun. Well, Margaret actually was friends with some members here at Old South Church, and those members thought it would be a wonderful thing to teach the children of the church music and to have them contribute to the worship of the church on handbells. So in 1929, Old South purchased a set of Whitechapel handbells, just like Margaret Shercliffe's. And that began handbell ringing here. This was only the 3rd set that ever was imported into America, and the first to be imported by a church. So we have quite the historic connection to handbells here at Old South, and we are delighted it's just as fresh today as it was back then when it was brand new. Our next piece is a French carol dating way back to the 17th century. The carol, Pas de Pain, revolves around the birth of Jesus Christ, and it's told from the perspective of shepherds playing their drums out in the fields. The name Pas de Pain is meant to mimic the sound of the drum. Now, we have a very familiar Christmas carol that does a similar thing. Anyone guess what that is? Yes, the little drummer boy. Pa-rum-pa-pum-pum, pa-rum-pa-pum-pum, me and my drum, right? Same concept. So Pas de Pain, the title, is meant to mimic the sound of the drum. We hope you enjoy this arrangement by Gregory Peisch. Thank you. Thank you so much. Our next piece is Silver Bells. It's a popular Christmas song, of course, and it was composed by Jay Livingston and Ray Evans around 1950. It was first recorded by Bing Crosby and Carol Richards in September of that year with the John Scott Trotter Orchestra and the Lee Gordon Singers. But the song really gained more widespread popularity when it was sung by Bob Hope and Marilyn Maxwell in a motion picture released in 1951. Can anyone guess what the name of that motion picture was? Oh, yes, that's right. You guessed it. It was the Lemon Drop Kid. The Lemon Drop Kid. Go Netflix it. But you know, Silver Bells almost never came to be. Yes, that's right. That's right. Instead, the song started out with the title Tinkle Bells. Later on, songwriter Ray Evans said, "We never thought that tinkle had a double meaning until Jay went home and his wife said, 'Are you out of your mind? Do you know what the word tinkle is?'" Let's just be thankful for candid, unsolicited feedback we can count on from our family. This particular arrangement was composed for handbells by Cynthia Jabrinsky. And we're very lucky to be living in a time with so many wonderful handbell, contemporary handbell composers. It's almost like if we were alive in the Mozart and Beethoven era of handbell composition. And there's some wonderful composers out there who've been writing for a while, and there are many, many more up-and-coming composers. Cynthia has been one of those masters. She has written some of the most beautiful handbell music that we have in our canon today. And I'm very, this piece is in honor of her. We lost her in October, far too young at age 71. So we hope you enjoy her music. We have another piece by her on the program, and we hope that this touches you the way it does us. Silver Bells by Cynthia Jabrinsky. Thank you, thank you. The French, they've given us many wonderful things. Great wines, great cheeses, the Eiffel Tower, the Statue of Liberty, French fries. But did you know that many of the Christmas carols that we know today are of French origin? One of those is Cantique de Noël, better known to us as O Holy Night. Now, I have to say that this little story wouldn't be as much fun without some show and tell. So if you'll indulge me. So in the country of France, imagine it's 1843 in a little town called Roquemar. Roquemar, France, way down in the south of France on the Rhone River. Roquemar, France. There is a town church that has a special organ. This organ was built in 1620. And the church in the 1840s had finally amassed enough funds to renovate this 150-plus-year-old organ. And they wanted to have a special celebration. Now remember, this was an era when you couldn't just stream your favorite music, right? So the church organ was about it for the local band, right? So they wanted to have a big celebration, and so they had a composition requested. And they had a Christmas poem, part of the celebration, written by this flashy gentleman here. His name was Philippe Cappeau. Philippe Cappeau. And it's amazing what you can learn on Wikipedia. This man was a poet, and as I was looking at his picture, I couldn't help noticing, gee, that's interesting. He's got his right hand kind of hidden in the sleeve of his jacket. I wonder why that is. And I did a little digging, and I found out poor Philippe, he was a great poet, but when he was just a little boy at 8 years old, another little boy had gotten a hold of a gun and shot his hand, and it had to come off. So Philippe wasn't deterred by that. He became a great poet, and he wrote in French, of course, the song that was used at the celebration. Now, the song itself was a poem until this fabulous-looking gentleman named Adolphe Adam came along and said, I think that's a pretty enough poem, I'm gonna set it to music. So Adolphe Adam set the poem to music, and that's the tune that we know today. Dum, dum, da, dum, da, dum, da, dum, dum, dum. But did you know that there's a connection to Boston with this song? Yes, yes. This man here, a Unitarian minister, Boston native, named John Sullivan Dwight. He wrote the English lyrics that we know, O Holy Night. It was a little bit of a translation, a little bit of artistic liberty. So he set the words to the tune that we know, O Holy Night. Boston native. So the next time you hear it, thank Boston, thank Mr. Dwight here, Reverend Dwight. And without any there was one more thing, one more really interesting facet. Reverend Dwight was an abolitionist, and the third verse, everyone thought was a not just religious statement. I'll read, in case you can't remember the words. They go like this. Truly he taught us to love one another. His law is love, and his gospel is peace. Chains shall he break, for the slave is our brother. And in his name all oppression shall cease. Sweet hymns of joy in grateful chorus we raise. Let all within us praise his holy name. Here is O Holy Night, Written originally by Philippe Capot, set to music by Adolphe Adam, with words, we won't be saying the words, but you know the words, by Reverend John Dwight, arranged by Michael Hellman. Thank you. Thank you. We have so much fun bringing these concerts to you, and we look forward to sharing many, many more of them with you in the future. But you know, we could not do this without your help. And we are committed to ensuring we can continue to offer these concerts free of charge. In order to do that, we've relied on the generosity of people who've sat here in years before you, and we depend on your help tonight if you feel so moved. As you leave tonight, there will be ushers with baskets willing to accept any donation, large or small, that you are willing to give to help ensure we can keep this tradition alive for the next 15 years. And if your wallet is a little lean tonight, fear not. On the back of your program is a nifty little QR code that you can scan for a quick link to make a secure online donation, or you can find links on our webpage at oldsouth.org. And of course, if our Christmas spirit has filled your heart and your wallet to overflowing, I'd love to talk to you about a sponsorship opportunity to expand our range of bass bells. So if you're feeling moved, let's chat. Anyway, we thank you for joining us here tonight. It is truly your presence here that is the best gift we could receive, and we thank you for your support. Our next piece is God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen by Cynthia Dobrinsky. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We have come to the end of our program, but just the beginning of this amazing time of year. We hope you've enjoyed this little musical romp through the season. We hope you'll leave here refreshed and invigorated to share the spirit of the season with those you love. May your holidays be filled with peace, with hope, and especially with love. We leave you with an arrangement of "O Come, All Ye Faithful" by Kevin McChesney.